this morning, Albany Senior High School Principal Claire Amos joins us to share her opposing view. Kia ora, Claire, thanks for being here. What do you make of the proposed changes to tomorrow's schools?
Look, I think they're an exciting set of recommendations, and we need to be mindful of the fact that that is exactly what they've come together to make some recommendations. And I think they have a whole lot of potential in terms of ensuring that we have a more equitable system, an education system in New Zealand.
Because I know critics of the proposed changes would say that it takes power away from school communities.
Yeah, I tend to disagree. I think if we actually look closely at the recommendations, and I think the key is to actually look at the recommendations document and not any of the publicity that's been put out by other groups, because if you look at the finer detail, there's no intention to take schools away from their communities. There's absolutely an opportunity for education hubs to support boards of trustees and parents to do their job. There is no inkling of schools and boards' powers being seized by these education hubs.
But certainly the power that boards of trustees have at the moment would be reduced under the proposed changes.
Yeah, absolutely they would change. But I do think we need to be careful about how we view the changes and see it as a move towards a partnership, and also a move towards there being support and resources available as and when they are needed. There is no suggestion of a one-size-fits-all solution for all of our schools in New Zealand. This is about providing tailored support and tailored partnerships that are going to serve all of our high schools and all of our schools.
Why aren't schools on the same page with this thing?
I think it's quite common for people to be nervous about change, and it's common for people to be nervous about what they say is a ministry-led change, and they worry that things won't work out as they hoped. And I understand that. And for the schools that are succeeding at the moment, and the schools that are well-resourced at the moment, things are going fine for them. And so when someone suggests change, I can understand that they might sit back and go, we don't need change. But I think we've got to remember that we've got a responsibility that goes further than large schools in Auckland, well-resourced schools across the country. And we need to be looking at how we might work together as an entire ecosystem of schools and make sure that every school, whether it be a large, well-resourced one in Auckland or one out in the regions, are getting access to the support they need.
Isn't this essentially the argument that rich schools aren't going to have the community power they once might have had, but poorer schools might be better off?
I think absolutely there's the opportunity that the poorer schools will be better off. I question whether the rich schools will lose community partnerships. Boards are one way and one way only that we can partner with our community. We will always retain those community resources if we have them already. It just might change how we engage with them, and I have no problem with education hubs being formed, and that's hopefully meaning that principals can focus on teaching and learning.
Is there a danger that these proposed changes are going to drive divisions between schools? I think between principals who support them and principals who don't.
Only if we make those divisions. My concern about the Alliance, I understand that they want to band together and they feel like they have a stronger voice if it's collective. But the very act of doing that is divisive. We've got to be really careful and make sure that when we band together in things like alliances, we don't shut down frank and sort of open debate around these issues. It should be safe for each and every principal to have a different viewpoint. We should absolutely be questioning the recommendations and making sure we're clear about the details and that they will serve all of our schools. But we must also make sure that we keep it an open and safe space. And I worry that things like an alliance might have the unintended consequences of making people feel like they're either in or they're out, and that they shouldn't have their own point of view.
Okay, thank you for your time, Claire. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We've been asking you this morning whether you